Come with me to a magical place where being labeled the Pork Queen is a compliment, where being nice is just a way of life, and where all leaders of the free world must pass through. Welcome to Iowa. Whether you're a current Iowan, an Iowa expat, or an Iowan at heart, this show is for you. This is the Iowa Podcast. Real Iowans, real talk, no drama. Spring is here, and of course that means summer is right around the corner. I'm Justin Brady on the Iowa Podcast, and today we're doing a special preview of all the Iowa farmers markets. We've reached out to a bunch, and some responded, and so we're going to do a little preview on what to expect in your corner of the state. Kicking things off is Taryn Kafer, the Dubuque Farmers Market Manager. Taryn, thank you for being the first up on this little Iowa Farmers Market Preview Day.
Thank you for having me.
So everyone's really excited about their farmers markets. Really excited.
Oh, we are.
And let's see here. Can you just give us a really broad overview of how many vendors does the Dubuque Farmers Market attract, and what's how big is it? What should we expect?
Yeah, so this year, 2024, we accepted 125 Dubuque Farmers Market vendors, and that is about 100 full-time vendors that will be there every week, and then about 25 occasional vendors that will pop in and out throughout the season and fill spaces depending on the weekend that they're coming. We start this Saturday, May 4th, 7 a.m. till noon, May through September. In October, we go 8 a.m. to noon every Saturday. We have about 3,000 attendees that come through every Saturday morning.
Okay, so you mentioned, so it sounds like some vendors are pretty consistent, but some rotate out depending on circumstances. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah, so occasional vendors have the opportunity to pop in 7 times a season, and they either are busy at other markets or have other things going on, so they're able to just pop in and have a pop-up booth and fill a spot.
Cool. So what is it? Is it produce? Is it food? Is it a little of everything? What should people expect when they show up?
We have a little of everything. So I would say a majority of our vendors are producers and growers. So that's your fresh vegetables, your bedding plants, your starter plants, all that good stuff. And then we have a handful of artisans and crafters that have everything you could think of. And then we do have a select handful of on-site food preparers. So that would include our breakfast items, pastries, and food trucks.
Oh, they do it on site.
They do. We have a food court located in the H block on the map, which is the majority of our breakfast food items. And then we have food trucks spread out throughout the market as well.
And how big is this? Because I'll be honest, I've been to a lot of spots in Iowa. I don't think I've been to the Dubuque Farmers Market. So can you give us an idea of just how big this thing is?
Yeah, so the Dubuque Farmers Market spans down 3 city blocks and the expanding streets as well. So we're located on Iowa Street, and we run from 10th to 13th Street, and we go down those 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th streets also.
Good. Yeah, that's actually pretty big.
We are pretty big. I would say we are the second biggest in the state.
Second biggest in the state. Who beats you? Do you know?
Des Moines is probably a little bit bigger than we are.
Okay, because I was 125 vendors, several city blocks. Des Moines isn't, if it's bigger, it's not that much bigger, honestly.
No, we're pretty close.
Yeah, well, I mean, goals, right? Just
yes.
beat Des Moines. So you were telling me ahead of time here, is this really one of the oldest farmers markets in the state, or is it the oldest farmers market in the state?
It is the oldest in Iowa.
Wow. So when did this start?
So the Dubuque Farmers Market started in the 1840s, which is what we can find in history records, in the Flatiron Park in Dubuque. And then it moved to the City Hall building in 1858, around that time. And they were actually selling out of the City Hall windows. And then as they got bigger and bigger, they added booths outside City Hall, and they started expanding. And that has continued. We still are around City Hall. Our focus is, we still have vendors kitty corner and around the entire block around City Hall.
So they were selling out of City Hall window. What does that mean? There was actually a floor or offices or parts of the building devoted to the farmers market activity?
Yes. So the city hall has windows that were built specifically to be able to sell out of. They had built that into the plan. So there's these really long, tall windows that go pretty low that they were able to open up and sell directly outside to their consumers.
Now, when did it move? Because obviously it's not in City Hall in that model anymore. When was the actual move date? Because you said you're still close to City Hall, but now you're outside, obviously.
Yep. So in 1879 is when they moved outside of City Hall into the adjoining streets. And then in 1970s, there was a little bit of a pause because of declining attendance, and then brought back a few years later and just expanded down those blocks and set it in the building.
That's fascinating. And so I also want to talk a little bit about, while we wrap this up here, you have like you're going to have to explain this to me, but you have like a wooden token system. Can you explain what this is?
Yes. So we offer a money market program, and we sell these tokens down at Dubuque Farmers Market. There's an information booth located on the corner of 12th and Iowa, and consumers can come up to the booth and swipe their debit or credit card, EBT or SNAP card as well, and they get tokens in exchange for the purchase. And those tokens can be used. Debit and credit can be used at every vendor, and EBT and SNAP are used at the specific vendors that sell the produce and items they can buy with SNAP. And we do this for two reasons. One, it saves our consumer on an ATM fee. If you forgot cash or you need more, you don't have to go find an ATM. You can just purchase a token.
Oh, okay.
And it also saves our vendors on using a credit card system or paying for a system. A lot of these are local farmers and producers and crafters and artisans that having a full terminal is quite expensive. So saving them that and giving the consumers an opportunity to use this system has gone over really well.
So, okay, so individual vendors, if they want to, can have a terminal. They can have their own Square or whatever system or Toast. But for those that don't want to sign up for that because they're like, I just do farmers markets, I'm not processing tons of credit transactions. They can process a credit transaction through you and then have those nickels. So that essentially they're still accepting credit cards. It's just convenient for them.
Yeah. And so our debit and credit tokens are the wooden tokens.
Right. And
they come in $5 increments. And so you purchase, let's say you buy $10 worth and you go to a vendor and you buy something for $8. They're going to give you $2 in cash back. They're used just like cash. It is pretty much a cash system in token form. And then Dubuque Main Street reimburses them for that money that gets pulled in. Got
it. Okay. So last question before I let you go, Taryn, is this is managed by Dubuque Main Street. Tell listeners what that is what that organization is and what you do. But then also, before I let you go, I got to ask, what's the booth? Because I know it exists. What's the booth you're really looking forward to seeing this year?
Oh, that's a hard one. I will start with Dubuque Main Street. So Dubuque Main Street is a not-for-profit, and they are a Main Street program that runs a lot of, economic development and design and promotion for Dubuque Main Street, the downtown. They manage quite a few districts, and they also manage the Dubuque Farmers Market. So they kind of house us and run, that's our budget and everything that flows through Dubuque Main Street. And then Dubuque Farmers Market is their event that they put on. As far as my favorite booth, there's so many. How do you pick from 125? I think I am most excited about the community that it brings. You can tell when Dubuque Farmers Market starts in Dubuque, it's this bringing of everybody downtown, and shops are open and vendors are open, and you see everybody and you get that community connection. And then on top of that, we have music and not-for-profits and entertainment and special events. So it is just a community vibe that only the market brings, and that is what I'm most excited about.
Taryn Kafer, the Dubuque Farmers Market Manager. I know it starts tomorrow. That's Saturday, May 4th. Can you give the website so people can find more information about it?
Yes, you can find us at DubuqueFarmersMarket.org, and you can also find us on Facebook under Dubuque Farmers Market and Instagram at Dubuque Farmers Market.
Taryn Kafer, thank you so very much for joining us on the Iowa Podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And as we continue our tour around Iowa today, previewing all the Iowa farmers markets, at least those who we can get. We are now joined by Amelia Klott, the Director of Events for the Greater Des Moines Partnership. And of course, Amelia, the partnership actually is the one who manages the downtown farmers market here in Des Moines, Iowa, correct?
Yep, we sure are.
Yeah, and thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So can you give us an overview of just generally for those that haven't been, those that don't live in the metro, what is the downtown farmers market? Just how big is it? And just paint us that picture.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to be the 49th season of the Downtown Des Moines Farmers Market. It runs May through October. So there'll be 26 opportunities to come join us down on Court Avenue in the historic Court District of downtown Des Moines. It opens at 7 a.m. every Saturday, except for in October, we open it at 8 a.m. We normally see anywhere from 25,000 to 35,000 people every single week, where we have a variety of farmers, producers, bakers, artisans, and of course, prepared food that you can have on site. So a lot to do, a lot to see. We also have a variety of entertainers on site, which is really exciting. Every single block you can hear something a little bit different.
Right. So it's not, we've gone, a lot of farmers markets have gone far beyond just bringing produce. It's a lot of people, I'm assuming people are bringing like soaps and pottery and kind of like artistic stuff that you can buy as well. Is that right?
We do. We have quite a few of material goods on site, like those soaps and artisanal things. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly what will be. Do you have kind of a rundown of the general categories? Obviously, food. You mentioned like cooked food vendors. Obviously, there are your produce vendors. Are there some outliers though? Like I mentioned soap. I mean, that's sometimes what I see at farmers markets. But are there some outliers or kind of a general category breakdown you can share?
Yeah, so we kind of break it down by farmers, material goods, like I shared, and that's going to be kind of those oddball things, those other small businesses that we like to support every single Saturday. And then, yes, we have some prepared food, which who doesn't love a breakfast burrito when you're trying to shop on Court Avenue, as well as some baked goods. That's another really big piece of the farmers market downtown. So a lot of really great bakers. One of my favorite things about the market. Yeah,
and the smells are incredible for anybody who's been to a farmer's market with the fresh baked goods.
Yes.
About how many counties participate? Because I know it's not just downtown. I know it's not just Polk and the surrounding metro area. I know you pull from quite a few counties. Do you have like a general idea of how many counties and where everyone's coming from as far as vendors are concerned?
Absolutely. We have vendors that come from 42 different counties around the state. We also have a handful of vendors that come from outside of Iowa. So the reach of the Downtown Des Moines Farmers Market is pretty big, where we like to support over 300 vendors every single season.
That's crazy. 300 vendors is nuts. We were just talking to Davenport, and they're trying to catch you. You know, they're the oldest farmers market in the state, but not the biggest yet. They said that you have them beat on biggest, but they're rapidly trying to catch up. So is that why you added some vendors this year just to keep up with Davenport and keep ahead of them?
Yeah, so it's funny to hear that. I like to hear that other farmers markets are looking to catch the Downtown Des Moines Farmers Market. We did add half a block to our footprint this season, which allows for 12 additional vendors to vend every single week. So, of course, we had the most people apply to our farmers market this season, which was really incredible to see. So to fill that need for extra space, we tried to accommodate 12 more vendor spaces. So it's going to be incredible.
Do you have like a waiting list then of people who want to be vendors and just you have too many people? Is that a thing then?
We don't have a waiting list. Every single year, we have an application process for new vendors.
Got it.
And those new vendors go through a vendor jury that is made up from our sponsors, some local celebrities here in Des Moines, and then just some general overall supporters of the partnership and the farmers market. So all of the people who apply who have not previously been a market vendor go through that process, and that is who gets let in that following season.
So there's like this mysterious Greater Des Moines Downtown Farmers Market Council, this galactic council that meets and like votes on new people.
Yes, there are a few different areas that people there's quite an application process for those vendors that are looking to get into the market, and there are a few different categories that they're reviewed on. So yes, it's made up of quite a few different people, and also some of our current vendors are involved in that. Those that have been involved for quite a while, and some of those new vendors, just to get them that experience as well.
Right. About how many people are going to come through every Saturday? Do you have numbers? I mean, I'm sure you have some numbers and some idea, because you don't really count people at the doors, but I'm sure you have a broad idea of how many people come through each Saturday and just season wide.
Yeah, we're expecting to see 25 to 35,000 people every single week. So we really activate Court Avenue and create a space for people to shop at some of those businesses that are also around Court Avenue, and really stay downtown Des Moines and support all of those small businesses.
So 35,000 people. I mean, what does Kinnick hold? Like 70-some thousand? So you're like filling Kinnick twice a month, essentially.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, the amount of people that come down. We're very grateful for the support that the community provides to the downtown farmers market and the downtown Des Moines as a whole.
And I think you mentioned this earlier, but it's not just about food, crafts. There's also, I think you said music as well. Is there anything else I'm missing outside of like that music category and live entertainment?
We also have a few activation pieces planned this season, so stay tuned for some of those fun things. Hoping to get people to stay down in the area a little bit more. So not ready to share those yet, so it might be a spoiler for the future, but the entertainment piece is really fun. There are 5 or 6 entertainers down there every single week, varying from a balloon artist to magicians, maybe Darth Vader, I hear, is going to join us this year, and musicians. So a lot to see.
That just gives a validation to my earlier comment about a dark council deciding these things. Apparently, Lord Vader's also involved in this. So, but I can't let this go by though. I need to ask, what is an activation thing? What is that? I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, so that is a surprise and delight moment that we like to provide for our community. So a pop-up activation, it's very much a surprise to those that might stumble upon it. One thing we're looking to do is add some yoga to the market this year. So to us, that is a pop-up activation, and there may be some other activations involving some of our current market vendors. So a really fun way to involve some of the people that are supportive of our market, and just a way to give back to them as well.
So an activation is like a special event that people participate in. So could it be like a special celebrity pop-up, or is it always like an activity that like participants can participate in?
You know what? It could be both.
Oh, Yeah, I heard rumors are that Justin Brady might be down there from the Iowa podcast and will be signing autographs.
Well, we would love to have him.
I mean, I can tell you that his mom will come, and that's pretty much it.
You know what? I think there would be more than just your mom.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just my mom. So anything else you can share us? Because this is intriguing. You got me at the activation stuff, and I'm not doing my job if I'm not asking you for any hints. Any hints you can share. Don't worry, I know Tiffany, so I'll give her a hard time if she gives you a hard time.
Well, not on the activation piece, but we do also have a Spark DSM business incubator program that we've had at the market. This will be our 3rd season. So this is a program where we help people who are potentially looking to get into the farmers market, and just really giving them a taste of what it's like to vend at the market. So
very cool.
Those people also have access to year-round programming that our team at the partnership here provides. So it's been a really, really, really great program that we've seen some of those vendors from our first 2 seasons are now occasional vendors full-time at the market. So it's been a really great program to see.
Amelia Claw, the Director of Events for the Greater Des Moines Partnership, which of course is over the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market. If people want to go to the website, learn about parking, learn where to go, where it is, how to participate, how to become a vendor, where do they go to find that information?
Yeah, if you go to the partnership website, we have a farmers market page, and you can find all of that information there, including one of the most important things, the support from our sponsors. We wouldn't be able to do it without our presenting sponsor, Unity Point Health Des Moines.
Awesome. Amelia, thank you so much for joining me and all the listeners here on the Iowa Podcast. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Have a great day.
Continuing our tour of Iowa for Iowa's farmers markets, we are joined by Missy Carter, the Executive Director of Freight House Farmers Market, and that's located in Davenport. Missy, thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, what's most exciting is you will complete our tour of farmers markets that have to be in a city that starts with the letter D.
Well, and we're DA, so right at the top of the list, right?
Yeah. So far, it's Dubuque, Davenport, and Des Moines. We sent a blast out to tons of farmers markets, and the cities with the letter D. I tell you, they're ready to go.
Well, we are all the best.
Exactly. Oh my word. This is starting out great. Okay, so first of all, I know there's a little bit of backstory because everyone is like, Des Moines Farmers Market, Dubuque Farmers Market. You are not the Davenport Farmers Market. You have a clever name, the Freight House Farmers Market, and I think there's probably a backstory there. Would you like to tell everyone about that?
Yeah, there is a little bit of a backstory. So back in the 1990s, and I want to say the late 80s, early 90s, which sounds so long ago, there were a couple different groups of growers that set up in the parking lot of where now the baseball stadium is, just outside the Freight House Marketplace building. And they were two separate groups running essentially simultaneous markets on the weekend. And they decided to come together and call themselves the Freight House Farmers Market. And in 2009, they became a nonprofit with the interest in supporting small growers, small businesses, and keeping costs reasonable so that people who do have a dream of entrepreneurism can afford to do so and try out their product without breaking the bank straight out the gate.
Yeah, and so it still continues to this date.
It does.
Yes. And now, I think you mentioned this. I didn't get it written down. When did it start? When was this?
So late 80s,
sure
early 90s,
okay,
somewhere in there, the two groups were vending out in the lot, and they came together and formed that nonprofit in 2009.
Got it. Now, I know there's this interesting history of like you're near a rail line or something. And so there's an interesting history there. But first, how big is this for people who've never been to Freight House Farmers Market? Can you give us an idea of how many vendors, how many spaces, how big this is, and how many people? And I can go back over those questions, of course.
So for our market, so we have an indoor market year round, and that indoor market supports anywhere from 20 to 30 vendors indoors. We're unique in the aspect that many of those vendors who have booths indoors, they are present during market. It isn't just, drop off consignment. We do have some of that, but they're present indoor year round, Saturday and Sunday. And then our outdoor season kicks off tomorrow, May 4th. And we have over 150 vendors outside for our summer season, and probably another 75 to 80 on a wait list to get in. So we are quite the party on the riverfront every Saturday and Sunday.
That is cool, though. You have the picturesque riverfront. Can you kind of paint that picture for everybody about what they should expect when they come down there? Kind of what it looks like, the visual, the aesthetic?
So the building that we are in, that we operate out of, is the Freight House Marketplace. And there are several businesses in our marketplace as well. It's kind of a long building, and it is so it's my understanding originally the train tracks, when they were using the building to haul product into the downtown for trades, the tracks ran on the north side of the building, it's my understanding. So the back side of the building, we call it the back side, but the north side of the building has their wooden kind of overhead freight doors on the back side of the building. And that's where the trains would pull up and unload. So those tracks are no longer in existence. We have River Drive there now. The tracks are on the other side of the building between us and the river. And we have a lovely view. We have a deck that stretches the entire length of the south side of the building that you can sit, enjoy live music. You can grab a bite to eat, sit on the deck, watch your kids play on the playground. You got a nice view of the ballpark and the Ferris wheel at the ballpark and Lake Claire Park and the band shell. It's just a gorgeous venue for us to be able to use.
I mean, it sounds like you're describing a painting, kind of.
Yes, it's gorgeous. It is my favorite place to be on the weekends here in Davenport, for sure.
Well, you do have to say that, but it does sound incredible.
Well, I'm not paid to say it, but yeah, it's very nice. And, to just spend a relaxing morning, just being part of the community. Everyone is in a great mood when they're at the market. We have live music on our main stage all weekend long. So we usually have 2 acts on Saturdays and 1 on Sundays. So you get to listen to the live music and just kind of watch your morning go by and just relax from a long work week.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the talent and the music you have, but there is this really interesting, just like our last few minutes here, there is this really interesting history of farmers bringing their goods into town right near you via the rail you were talking about, right? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so back in the day, there were not the cars we have today. So to bring the product to the downtown area, to bring it to the city, they brought it by rail car. So, and it's not so much different. We're not using the rail cars to bring it downtown anymore, but we have a lot of small growers and farmers that are in the satellite communities outlying the Quad Cities. They come to the downtown to bring it into our urban market area. We like to we're part of the SNAP EBT program as well. So we really like to bring food into those food insecure areas and to be able to support getting fresh and local product to the downtown and urban areas that don't necessarily can't get out to the farms or get out to the local farm stands out in the country that we're bringing it to them. So
right.
It's that same history, but just in a different way.
What I like about that, and because obviously several farmers market include the EBT programs, which is really cool. But what I like about that is it's increasing the nutritional density of the produce that people have access to. And I think that's often overlooked. It's not just about getting people access to food. That's great. It's about getting people access to nutritionally dense food, because food that's shipped here, we've talked about this on the show before, but food that's shipped here from like other countries, they have to pick it early because they have to preserve it. It can't mold and, deteriorate on the way here. So food picked locally is higher in nutritional value. So that's definitely worth pointing out. Just the last, I know you have a partner you work on with live talent. And then of course we, want to plug the website so people can get in touch with you as well.
Absolutely. We partner with Common Cord, which is another local nonprofit here in the Quad Cities. They are just a couple of blocks away from us. And Sean and Tyson with Common Cord, they curate our music lineup. So what their nonprofit does is support local live music to bring that music culture to the downtown and to the Quad Cities. And they have quite a few artists that are kind of just like our small businesses just starting out. We have artists that they have to start somewhere. And what better of a venue than to play for your local community? It's a very non-stress, very chill kind of situation. So if they're a new performer that's a little bit nervous, they can get some time under their belt by busking at the market. We have several buskers that they also go through Common Cord. that play in the marketplace area. And then we have our main acts up on the main stage. We have 2 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday.
Excellent. And obviously, really quickly, actually, you got an award recently.
We did. So we are the #1 farmers market in Iowa, according to the America's Farmland Trust. They always they run an annual contest, and they get the #1 in the state, #1 in your region. We're not #1 in the Midwest, but we're trying. And then #1 in the nation. So we are #1 in Iowa, and that is by customer vote. So we're pretty proud of that. We wear that as a very nice shining stone in our crown. So we love that the community supports us, and we like to be able to say that. So we're going to try again this year to be #1 as well.
Missy, you obviously get to end today's show covering the farmers markets that start with the letter D, our very special elite series. And what's really interesting between all the executive directors and managers of these farmers market, there's a little bit of competitiveness there. Like Dubuque is like, we're closing in on, we're the second biggest farmers market. We're closing in on Des Moines. And meanwhile, Des Moines trying to add more vendors to stay ahead. And you're sitting here saying, well, but we're the #1. But it's really interesting to see that everyone has this little competitive edge to them. I really love that. So thank you so much.
We do it. We all work very closely, but at arm's length.
I just want to see.
Friends close, enemies closer. I don't know. I wouldn't call it. They're a bunch of great people that are doing some amazing things in their communities as well. And, markets across the board. We like to give each other a little rib of, oh, we're the biggest, customers love us most. But everywhere we go, every time I visit Dubuque and I can get up there, I drop in on that one. I have yet to make it to Des Moines because we are so close. Our seasons are so close.
Sure, it's hard.
But I think I might take some time off and sneak away and see what ideas I can grab from them. They're always full of great ideas.
Well, maybe in the off season, we can have like a cage match between all the farmers markets or something. I think people raise money for charity. I think people would pay to see that. But
I think so. Are tomatoes involved? Maybe.
Ooh, I'm my word. We got to stop this before this gets out of control. Missy Carter, Executive Director of Freight House Farmers Market in Davenport. Drop the website so people can find you and get all the details.
You can find us at freighthousefarmersmarket.com. Also, Facebook at Freight House Farmers Market, and Instagram at Freight House Farmers Market.
Excellent. Missy, thank you so much for coming on the Iowa podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you having us on.
And that does it for our Farmers Market preview. I'll see you out there. And to my fellow Iowans, Iowa expats, and Iowans at heart, thanks for listening and subscribing to the Iowa Podcast.